section, verse 7. In verse 7, it looks as if there are added three more witnesses which are in heaven. Verse 7, there are three that bear record in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these three are one. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 7. In a very scholarly presentation, Dr. A.T. Roberts stated that this verse is not in the better manuscripts. I heard Dr. Roberts lecture when I was a student in seminary. That's McGee and not me again. I went to Bible school, not seminary. And he probably knew more Greek than anybody who lived in our generation. I remember that when he got up the first day to lecture on the epistle to the Romans, he had a great big sheaf of notes. He didn't even look it up at the class because he was busy just straightening out those notes. When he looked up and said, I don't see how the Apostle Paul even wrote the epistle to the Romans without my notes. Of course, everybody roared at that. Well, Dr. Roberts was a great Greek scholar, and he makes the statement that verse 7 is not in the better manuscripts, but was probably written in the margin by some scribe. You must remember that the Bible at first was handwritten. The first book printed was the Bible, but that was not until Gutenberg invented the printing press, which was a long time after John and his day. Eventually, some scribe put what we have as verse 7 in the margin. And then later on, another scribe came along and thought it was to be included in the text. There is nothing wrong with the verse, but we do need to recognize that it is not in the better manuscripts. If you want to be scholarly and accurate and to be able to defend the verbal plenary inspiration of the Bible, we need to know these things. In other words, there are not six witnesses presented here. The three in heaven, given in verse 7, would do us very little good down here on earth. But it is the three witnesses on earth which we are concerned about and which have a direct bearing on us. That is what needs to be emphasized.